Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a little paint demo. I'm getting ready for a paint night class on Monday, so I thought it would be fun to show you guys the process. It's a very simple painting, and I'm going to have about 10 students, so I'm super excited and I wanted to share it with you guys. I need to figure out the angle so you guys can see me paint. But before we get started, here's my canvas. It's a 9 by 12. And if I'm painting on a cotton canvas, I will normally use some acrylic gesso and I will put it on the cotton canvas and let it dry. And then I use sandpaper and I smooth it off, and I usually do 2 or 3 layers. Now I have my reference photo taped to my canvas. I'm gonna start out with a light color blue and white, and I have my spray bottle, and I also have my bucket of water. And with acrylics, there are all kinds of mediums that you can use to prolong the paint so it will be more workable, but I don't really go that route, especially with paint night classes, because it can be really confusing. Are you guys ready to paint? So we are going to be painting this little gingerbread house, and I might change it up a bit. I have some other reference photos, and we are painting with acrylic paint. Before I start painting, I normally just spritz my canvas with this water bottle, and it helps the paint to flow easier. So I'm going to start out with a light color blue and titanium white, and I'm going to double load. First of all, let me dip my paintbrush in water just to get it a little moist. I'm going to double load my brush, blue on one side, white on the other, a little more white than blue. And the idea is to paint an icy looking background that looks cold. And you want to do nice, even, long strokes. You don't want harsh lines. You want it to look streaky, so it'll look nice and icy. We're gonna go about this far down because we're gonna have a white snowy hill, or you could go all the way down if you want. With acrylic paint, it dries very quickly, so you have to work rather quickly. So I have my background, and it's just kind of a white blue streaky background, and the next thing you do is you let this background dry before moving on to the next step. I already did one coat of snow. This is like a little hill that the house sits on, and I'm just gonna go back over it just a little because I like it to look thick, and you don't want to blend it too much. Just let it look like it's thick, fresh fallen snow, and do nice directional brush strokes, nice and loose. Kind of come up and down. And then we're going to start to work on the little house. Now we're starting the house, and I am using raw sienna and burnt umber on my styrofoam palette here. Now I always talk about directional brush strokes. Before I get started, this paint feels a little thick, so I'm going to spritz it with water. Load my brush, just on both sides. So the house, you go from top to bottom and just start painting, I guess, the graham crackers or the gingerbread, and just start painting on the house. I'm just gonna go around this heart. One thing about painting, you need to relax. So many students, they're uptight when they even begin the process, and I understand that. I've been there, and sometimes I still am there, but just try to be loose and relaxed, and I'm telling you, your work will benefit from that. I have the house filled in pretty much, and I want the darker, or the bottom half of the house to be a little darker. So I'm going to get some of my burnt umber and just load a little on my brush, and I'm going to bring it from the bottom and just flick it up. no blending, just kind of set your brush down and flick it up. I decided to go ahead and fill in that window area and just draw it back because I think it's easier that way. What I did was I took my brush and put a little darker here to anchor it down into the snow and a little bit dark here for some shadows. And then we are going to fill in the door with a darker brown. I'm going to leave a space around the door where the candy cane is going to be. So we'll go ahead and just fill in this middle part. And one thing that's very important, you want both sides of the door where the house is to be the same. And I usually just take my brush and close one eye, and then I just measure to make sure. Seems like this side is a little wider, so I'll have to adjust that to make it look better. All right, so now I'm going to just get a clean palette and I'm going to put titanium white on it. And I'm going to go along this roof line where the snow is, but you don't want any of the brown to get in with the snow, so you want it to be just about dry before you do that. Of course, snow does not fall completely straight, so you want it to be a little wavy. Just kind of take your brush, the edge of your brush, and then just kind of go lightly up and down. And I will tell you guys, every painting goes through an ugly phase. And it takes experience to know that you can persevere and go through with it, because when I was first painting, I threw away so many paintings. I was just exasperated. So I would just throw away paintings thinking that they could not be salvaged, but they can. You just have to keep on putting the paint on there and working on it, and you'll be surprised what you can accomplish. Okay, so you want the tip to be exactly middle of the door, middle of the heart. You just have to make sure everything is in proportion. With painting, you always start with the big shapes and work your way to the details. Just let your brush glide along and twist it and turn it. And I like it when some thick clumps of paint is left behind. It just makes it look more interesting, gives it more of a 3D effect. The good news is with art, you don't have to be perfect, because I think that's how you find your style. You just have to be free with it. And that is much easier said than done. So we'll go ahead and start with the little icicles. Just kind of pull it down like that into the nothing perfect. So this is a group of ladies who I have done a paint night, a Christmas paint night party with them. This will be our 3rd year. They always look forward to it. They're a great bunch of ladies. Have a good time. We bring food, wine, do a little sipping and stroking. But it's really a lot of fun. And now we're gonna go around the door. So I'll probably get let me see if this brush is about the right size. Yeah, I think I can make it work. So we're just gonna go around the door with the white paint. There we go. And around. there's anything you don't like at the end, you can always clean up little areas that you feel you're not happy with. Kind of like the snow here. Some of the brown got into the snow. So I'll probably just like make it like more like a snowdrift there, like that. Just twist my brush and around. We'll go ahead and do that. And flick it. All right, it's starting to look like a gingerbread house. I went ahead and I painted in the chimney, and now I'm going to dip my brush in the least amount of blue, ultramarine blue, because I want the icicles to look cold and frozen, and so I'll just add a little bit of blue in each icicle. And a little around the door. And sometimes you need to just kind of step back and look at it and see if there's something that you don't love about it, and then you can change it. Always paint over something. But now with acrylic, it is not forgiving like oils. With oils, I can just, you know, an hour or two later, I can still rub it off. Acrylics, not so much. Okay, so that is the icicles. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and paint the heart in red, and I'm going to go ahead and fill in the candy cane chimney and around the door. I went ahead and painted in the little heart and then the candy cane chimney, and I'm going to go around the door now. Little candy cane. I was gonna make it be frosting, but I think a candy cane door would be cuter. All right, so I did the candy cane around the door, and I went ahead and drew in the windows, and I'm going to put a little bit of blue around the windows like I did on the roof, on the snow, and the icicles to make it look like a little bit of frost. Just a little bit, because this blue is very powerful. Just a little. Going to begin the gumdrops on top of the roof, and I'm going to do all the red ones first, then the blue, then the yellow. So I cheated. I went ahead and did all the gumdrops on top of the house. Now we're going to begin the path, and I'm going to do all the red candies, and they are more ovals, and it will be smaller where the door is and get bigger as it goes down the path. So I'll go ahead and do the red ones. All right, so I have the little pathway here, I have the gumdrops, and now I'm going to get some fresh white and do the little swirls of smoke that's coming out of the chimney. This is still wet, so I'm going to leave it alone for now because I don't want to mess it up again. All right, we're getting close to being finished. So I'm gonna do a doorknob. I'm going to put some highlights on top of the little gumdrops, and some little dots here and make some snow. Now when I'm putting these dots on these gumdrops, I'm going to do all the yellow ones first, and then I'll switch to the red and stick with colors so we don't get color mixing. We're almost finished. So I'm working on this little lollipop, and I'm just gonna swirl it around. I did the first layer and then I walked away to let it dry, and it's still not dry enough because it's trying to smear. So I'll just have to come back when it's dry and add some white, and that way when it's dry it won't smear. I'll just go with some fresh white right on top of it, but we're gonna leave it like it is. I've started on my candy cane right here. These little details can be quite tedious and intimidating too. Okay, so I'm finished. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is the first time I've done anything like this. This is the finished painting. And Monday night is my paint night class with about 10 ladies, and this is what we're going to paint. And I will paint it again along with them. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And sometime I'll do other paintings, like classical painting, maybe a still life. But I would probably break it up into separate videos because I feel like they probably take too long. And when I edit this, then I'll see how long this took. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.